Hello everyone, this is the video of Legal Studies class 12 and in this video I will be discussing unit 1 namely Judiciary, topic 3 namely that is appointments, training, retirement and removal of judges. So let's begin with the topic. So we have the judiciary system consisting of 3 levels of courts. At the highest level or topmost level, there is Supreme Court. At the mid level, we have High Courts and at the bottom level, we have District Courts. At this point in time, I would like you to note down another point, that is the provision and methods of judges' appointment is described in the Constitution of India. Now, let's begin with the topic, that is appointments of judges of the Supreme Court. Clause 2 of Article 124 of the Constitution describes this provision and methods of appointment of judges of the Supreme Court of India. So, as this point saying that Article 124 and Clause 2 that describes the provision and methods of appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court of India. Further, as per this provision, every judges of the Supreme Court shall be appointed by the President after the consultation with such judges of the Supreme Court and of the High Courts in the states as per the President may deem necessary for the purpose and shall hold office until he attains the age of 65 years. So, this provision has 4 points. The first one, that is President will consult the Chief Justice of India. The second point, the Chief Justice of India will consult the 4 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court. And the third point is the Chief Justice of India will also consult the Chief Justice of the respective state High Court. And the fourth point is once a candidate appointed as the Justice of Supreme Court, he will remain in his office till the age of 65. Now, let's discuss the qualification and eligibility of the judges of the Supreme Court. Clause 3 of Article 124 of the Constitution defines the qualification and eligibility to be appointed as the judge of the Supreme Court as he must be the citizen of India. Secondly, has been for at least 5 years a judge of a High Court or of 2 or more such courts in succession. It means he must be the judge of a High Court or 2 or more such courts in succession. Means there should be gap. So, in 5 years there shouldn't be gap. It must be in continuity. Now, the next point is you need to pay attention here. I have highlighted, that is or in red. So, it is not and, it is or. So, or has been for at least 10 years an advocate of a High Court or of 2 or more such courts in succession. So, the next point saying that if he is not the judge of the High Court, then he must be the advocate of a High Court and experience must be of 10 years, not less than that. Now, the third point, again it is or, not the and. The third point is in the opinion of the President, he must be a distinguished jurist. Likewise, here we have discussed the 4 points. The first point that is common, that is he must be the citizen of India, and the rest 3 the candidate has to possess only one, either the judge of the High Court at least for 5 years in continuity or the advocate of the High Court at least for last 10 years, and the last point that is basically or, that is in President's opinion he must be the distinguished jurist. Now, let us discuss the methods of the appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court. At present, the appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court follows the Collegium model. Now you have the question, I believe, what is Collegium model? But wait for a while, I will explain in my subsequent slide. Before that, just check out this provision. Whenever a vacancy is expected to arise in the office of a judge of the Supreme Court, then under the Collegium model, the Chief Justice of India, after consultation with 4 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, will send his recommendation to the Union Minister of Law and Justice, who then puts up the same to the Prime Minister. So, this provision is saying that if there is any vacancy in the Supreme Court, then Chief Justice of India, after consultation with the 4 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, will send his recommendation to the Union Minister of Law and Justice. Now, the next point is, that is, thereafter the Prime Minister will advise the President and the President makes the appointment. So, this point is saying that once the Prime Minister receives the recommendation from the Chief Justice of India, then he puts forward to the President, and President, based on Prime Minister's recommendation, appoints the judge of the Supreme Court. Here I would like you to note down an important point, that is, the Chief Justice will also consult the senior-most judge hailing from the High Court of a prospective appointee. What this point is saying basically, that is, the senior-most judge hailing from the High Court of a prospective appointee. What does it mean? Let's understand this point with an example. That is, if a candidate from Telangana High Court recommended by the Chief Justice of India to be Judge of the Supreme Court. In such a condition, the Chief Justice of India, along with consulting the 4 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, he will also consult the Chief Justice of Telangana High Court. And similarly, if a candidate is recommended from the Andhra Pradesh High Court, then the Chief Justice of India will consult the Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court, and so on and so forth. So, from where the candidate will belong, the Chief Justice of India will consult the Chief Justice of that particular state. Now, let us discuss the another important point that we have already discussed before in brief, that is, what is Collegium model? Collegium is a judges appointment body constituting of the Chief Justice of India, 4 senior judges of the Supreme Court, the senior-most judges hailing from the High Court of a prospective appointee. So, I believe now you must understand all these 3 points, because we have already discussed these 3 points before. So, Collegium consists of these 6 people, but the 6th one, that is the Chief Justice of a High Court, that varies depending upon the candidate. If candidate from the Telangana High Court, then that Chief Justice will be of Telangana High Court. If candidate from the Uttarakhand, then the Chief Justice will be of Uttarakhand High Court. Similarly. Now the question is, what is the function of Collegium model? The role or function of Collegium is to select the eligible and qualified candidates, shortlist the candidates, and recommend the names of the shortlisted candidates to the Union Minister of Law, Justice and Company Affairs. At this point in time, again I would like you to note down another important point, that is, the President has no obligation to appoint the recommended candidates as per the advice of the Chief Justice of India or the advice of the Collegium. He can reject the shortlisted candidate or candidates. In such a case, Collegium will send the list of other shortlisted candidates. Likewise, this system of judges appointment is known as Collegium model. Now, let us discuss the another important point, that is oath and affirmation of the judges of the Supreme Court of India. As per Article 124 and 3rd Schedule of the Constitution, the Chief Justice or judges of the Supreme Court will take oath or affirmation in the presence of President. Now, the another important topic that we have, that is, what is the tenure of the Supreme Court judges? By the time, there is as such no fixed tenure of the judges of the Supreme Court. However, the judges of Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice of India, retire at the age of 65. What does it mean? There is no fixed tenure and the judges retire at the age of 65. It means simply if a judge or any candidate, maybe an advocate, becomes the judge of the Supreme Court. In such a condition, what happens? Irrespective of his age, one might be appointed as the judge of the Supreme Court at the age of, say, 45. It means he will remain the judge of the Supreme Court until he attains the age of 65. So, his total tenure will be 20 years. Another example, if someone appointed as the judge of the Supreme Court at the age of 64, then his tenure will be only 1 year. So, the tenure is not an important. Important is the upper limit of the candidate's age. So, at whatever the age a person is appointed as the justice of the Supreme Court, he remains until the age of his or her 65. So, this is the point. Now, let us discuss another important point, that is the salary of the judges of the Supreme Court. As per the Article 125 of the Indian Constitution, it is up to Parliament to decide or determine the salary, other allowances, leave of absence, pension, etc. of the Supreme Court judges. So, it is Parliament who decides how much it would be. However, a judge of the Supreme Court draws a salary of 250,000 per month, and the Chief Justice earns 280,000 rupees per month. Now, let us discuss our favorite topic, that is the removal of the judges of the Supreme Court. As per the constitutional provision, a judge can be removed only by an order of the President based on the removal motion passed by both the houses of Parliament separately. You need to focus here that separately. Okay. However, a judge of either High Court or Supreme Court can be removed from his or her office through a motion adopted by Parliament on grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity. So, what are the grounds of removal of the judges of the Supreme Court? That is misbehavior or incapacity. Now, let us discuss all these provisions for the judges of the High Courts. So, appointments of the judges of the High Courts. Clause 1 of the Article 217 of the Constitution describes the provisions and methods of appointment of judges of the High Courts of India. As per this provision, every judge of the High Courts shall be appointed by the President after the consultation with Chief Justice of India, the Governor of the respective state, and in the case of appointment of a judge other than the Chief Justice of the High Court. So, what this point is saying basically, that the judges of the High Court shall be appointed by the President. So, it is almost same as the appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court. The President will appoint, but the President will consult with the Chief Justice of India along with the Governor of that state in which that judge is going to be appointed as the judge of the High Court, and the Chief Justice of the same High Court. So, this is the provision for the appointment of the judges of the High Court. Now, let us discuss another point, that is the qualification and eligibility of the judges of the High Court. Clause 2 of Article 217 of the Constitution defines the qualification and eligibility to be appointed as the judge of the High Courts as must be the citizen of India, it is the same. But apart from this, the next point that has to be there, has for at least 10 years held a judicial office in the territory of India, or again pay attention here, or has been for at least 10 years an advocate of a high court or of 2 or more such courts in succession. Either the 10 years held a judicial office in the territory of India or practicing lawyer for last 10 years in continuity. Now our next point is, that is the methods of appointment of the judges or Chief Justice of High Courts. The Chief Justice of a High Court is appointed by the President with the consultation of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and the Governor of the state. The other judges are appointed by the will of President, Governor and the Chief Justice of a High Court. So this provision is saying simply 2 points. The first one is, if the Chief Justice of a High Court need to be appointed, then the President first consult with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of that state in which that candidate has to be appointed as the Chief Justice of that High Court. On the other hand, if the other judges of that High Court need to be appointed, then the President of India will consult the Chief Justice of India, the Governor of that particular state and the Chief Justice of that particular state. Now let us discuss another important point, that is oath or affirmation of the judges of the High Court. As per Article 219 and 3rd Schedule of the Constitution, the judges of the High Court, including the Chief Justice of the High Court, will take oath or affirmation in the presence of Governor of that state. Our next important topic, that is the tenure of the High Court's judges. As we have seen in case of the Supreme Court, that there is no fixed tenure. Similarly, for the High Court judges, there is no fixed tenure. However, the judges of High Courts, including the Chief Justice of India, retire at the age of 62. So it has the same provision. If a person is appointed as the judge of the High Court at the age of say 50, then he will remain in the office for next 12 years. On this other hand, if a person is appointed as the judge of the High Court at the age of 61, then he will remain in that office for next 1 year only. So the provision is same, only the difference of age. In the Supreme Court it is 65 and in the High Court it is 62. Now our next important topic, that is also the favorite topic, that is the salary of the High Court judges. Article 221 of the Indian Constitution leaves it to the Indian Parliament to determine the salary, other allowances, leave of absence, pension, etc. of the High Court judges. So as we have seen in the case of Supreme Court, similarly in the case of High Court, same provision. It's only the Parliament that decides all these things. A judge of the High Court draws a salary of 225,000 per month, while the Chief Justice earns 250,000 per month. Now let's discuss the procedure of the removal of the judges of the High Court. We have already seen in case of the Supreme Court that what is the procedure of the removal of the judges of the Supreme Court. So here it is the same procedure followed in order to remove the judges of the High Court. So what provision says? It says, as per the constitutional provision, a judge can be removed only by an order of the President based on the removal motion passed by both the Houses of Parliament separately. A judge of either High Court or Supreme Court can be removed from his or her office through a motion adopted by Parliament on grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity. So it is literally same. There is no difference in case of the Supreme Court or in case of the High Court. Now let's discuss all such provision for the appointment of the judges of the district courts of India. Appointments of the judges of the district courts of India, that is mentioned under Article 233 clause 1 of the Constitution, that describes the provisions and methods of appointment of judges of the district courts of India. So you need to remember the article. The judges of subordinate courts are appointed by the governor in consultation with the Chief Justice of the High Court of the concerned state. So, in context of the district court, the judges are appointed by the governor in consultation with the Chief Justice of that respective High Court. Now, let's discuss the qualification and eligibility of the judges of the district court. The first qualification that has to be there, that is, he must be the citizen of India. And the second qualification, that is, a minimum of 7 years of practice as a lawyer at bar. So, he must be having 7 years of experience at the bar as practicing lawyer. Likewise, to be the judge of the district court, 2 qualifications are required, that is, he must be the citizen of India and he must be having 7 years of experience in practicing at bar. Now our next topic is, that is, appointment of the judges of the district courts. There are 2 procedures for the appointment of the judges at district level. The first one is direct appointment through written examination and oral interview by a committee of High Court judges. So, this is the first procedure through which a judge of district court is appointed, that is known as direct appointment, in which the candidate has to appear in the written examination. Once he passed the written examination, then he needs to attend the interview that is conducted by the judges of the High Court, and if he clears the interview, then he will be appointed as the judge of the district court. The second provision of the appointing of the judge of the district court is elevation method. What happens that the judges of the subordinate courts may be promoted as the judge of the district court. So, it is the elevation method. Now, our next topic is, that is, the removal of the judges of the district court. So, what is the procedure of removal of the judges of the district court? A district judges or an additional district judge can be removed from his office by the state government in consultation with the High Court. So, it is the again complex process, but not as complex as the removal of the judges of the High Courts and Supreme Court. Now, we have the last topic of this video, that is judicial training. So, what is the judicial training? For the training of Supreme Court and High Court judges and judicial officers in India, a government funded training institute, namely National Judicial Academy, is constituted. This institute was funded in 1993 and is located in Bhopal, that is the capital city of Madhya Pradesh, with a registered office in New Delhi. Further, in 2006, as part of providing judicial training, the National Judicial Education Strategy, that is NJES, has been established to provide judicial education to High Court judges, district judiciary and state judicial academies. So, this is all for this video. See you in next video.